Nehawu is threatening a full-blown strike at SARS. This after wage talks with the revenue collector have seemingly come to a deadlock. Nehawu, to remind you, demanding 11.5% wage increase, and here seems to be the problem. SARS, tabling an offer of 0%. Let's speak to the union's Zola Saphetha this morning. Zola, hello to you. Forgive me for clearing my throat on air. I seem to have picked up a bit of a cold. So it sounds like we've got one very large number, one very small number. Now, normally we start negotiations, don't we, somewhere in the middle, but we're not even there. How has this collapsed so quickly?
Good morning to you, Gareth, and the viewers. Let me start by correcting. We are demanding 12%, which is informed by 5% CPI of the October 2021 and a demand of 7%, which makes it up to 12%. And you will recognize that on average, a South African employee feeds 8 more stomach. And you would also appreciate that the buying power time to time, it becomes a pressure to workers, particularly when employers are reneging to recognition, to collective agreement that they would reach, which is the case in SARS, and when the 13% electricity hike is proposed, and when the petrol is to increase with 3 rand. So our demand are more reasonable. And unfortunately, since our negotiations in January, the employer has been kept mum in terms of what is it that they're offering. Only when we were forced them through CCMA when they started to say 0%. And we are quite convinced that SARS has a capacity to give what we want, because yearly we improve almost 25% on the revenue collection.
Yeah. And this is what I wanted to ask you as well. There's an irony about talking about wage negotiations, especially some would say with an organization like SARS that makes as much money as it does. Why do you think, I know you mentioned since January they've been rather quiet, but why, to your understanding, are they not willing to budge from 0%? It's not even a negotiation. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. It's a simple flat-out 0 and no. Why do you think that is?
The only thing that they are bringing to the table, really, as we are also looking for the reasons why 0%, is the issue of the austerity measures led by the National Treasury, which makes their finances not to look good as we would have expected, though the CCMA had confirmed that they have received that they've wanted in terms of the budget. So we don't really know. That's why we are more convinced that a 12% salary increase is more possible at SARS.
Let's talk a little bit, if we can then, Zola, about what a full-blown strike at SARS sounds like. This is, it's never a good thing to have a strike in any sector, but when it comes to the country's economy, people's businesses, their personal finances, this can have a very serious knock-on effect. When we talk about a full-blown strike, help me understand what that looks like. Paint a picture for me. Does SARS shut down?
Truth of the matter, this is what we have been avoiding as a union. Hence, we are so patient, and hence we are so considerate, not also even to ask the CPI at the current rate. We would be updated to October, because we wanted to make sure that we resolve this. And the full-blown strike means nothing else. And it's not going to be an unfortunate situation, because there will be no service rendered. So full-blown means that everything comes to a standstill. There will be no service provided. Our members will not be venturing in any project of revenue collection. There will be no service completely. And of course, our society will be affected. And it's an unfortunate situation, because we have an intransigent employer who doesn't even want to consider the reality of poverty and what workers are subjected to.
Forgive me if I missed, if you spoke about this earlier, Zola. Just in closing, where is the deadline on these demands? When are you giving SARS until for them to come back to you with something?
We are giving SARS up until the 24th of this month, because we are resuming our strike on the 25th. And as an indefinite strike until our demands are resolved.
Well, I appreciate your time in speaking to us this morning. Zola Saphetha from Nehawu threatening a full-blown strike tumza at SARS. You can imagine the chaos that will cause. I don't know if you've driven past SARS in Randburg, but the number of people there queuing every single day, never mind the online sector as well. Businesses going into Q2, people trying to keep their economies going, their businesses going, and if SARS shuts down, it causes you and I problems, and our tax practitioners and everyone else doing tax work. Major chaos. So we need to try and get SARS on to try and find out what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate